How could I have forgotten Stella? And her son, Brutus? Rufus. Brutus would have been a better name.
Fear.
Evening.
Good evening.
Do you need help?
A real doc...
A real...
I don't know what to...
So long.
These are a lot faster because I did that already.
Good evening.
I can't remember.
Good evening, Miss...
Doctor,
Mrs. Fishburne.
I am afraid...
Then let me...
I think...
Goodbye, Miss...
See? She just had anemia again.
I can't remember the last
There's
time
cancer
I
in there,
sleep.
for sure. She's losing blood or something. Okay, so that means... Ichabod Throckmorton. I wonder where he is, actually. He should be here, but he might be... Oh, yeah, he's in the other side. We got Enid and Martin. I know where they are. And Giselle and Lottie, I know where they are as well. Rodney Grader. I do not know where he is. I'm not even sure I know who he is. Hello.
Glad to see.
Do you have recent news of Sean Hampton's shelter? Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
There were rumors of infected people turned mad by the fever and roaming the streets, attacking everyone they see. Is it true?
As long as you stay away from the streets, you should be all right.
I hope you're right, Dr. Reed. We feel kind of left alone around here.
Do you need my medical attention, Miss Paxton?
I can keep going, Dr. Reed.
Of course you can, Miss Paxton. But I wouldn't recommend it. Please, take this. You will feel better.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Thank you. Really.
Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
So that's one of them, but I can talk to Sean as well. Hey, Sean.
Welcome back to my humble shelter, Dr. Reed. Are you here to subdue me again?
No, Sean. I just came by to see how you are.
I feel all right. Why'd you ask?
Are you still feeding on corpses?
No. It's almost as though the blood you forced me to drink has provided me eternal satisfaction.
How is the sanitary situation in this part of town?
There's a lot of sadness and pain in my flock. I believe we're not fully through the crisis. You should do something about it if you can, Doctor.
How are things in your shelter? Between the mortals and the immortals, I mean.
Even if we're all children of God, I've always maintained a strict frontier between the two communities.
What do you fear?
A few years ago, a Skal decided to pay a nocturnal visit to my sleeping customers. He got caught licking their necks in the dark. Since then, I have added a lock to the door.
What if food became scarce? Wouldn't the immortals in your flock be tempted to feed on the living? Wouldn't you?
The Skals can feed on the dead, Doctor. And until Judgment Day, mortals will continue dying.
Well, yeah.
Would you let me listen to your chest, Sean?
No, Dr. Reed. You already forced me to drink your blood, and I thank you for that, for I feel better now. But it was quite an unpleasant experience.
It would help me greatly if you would allow me to give you a physical examination.
I said no. I'm no subject of medical examination, and I intend only to obey and to kneel before God.
How did you meet old Bridget?
When younger, I used to patrol the streets at night, searching for lost souls. This is how I met her. It took me 2 months just to get her name. Now we support each other.
Had you already visited their hideout in the sewers?
Just once, and very briefly. Most of them are very discreet, and they see me as an outsider, even if I protect them.
You really are a saint, Sean.
Oh, no, sir, I'm not. But I know evil, and I believe goodwill and tenacity can make this world a better place.
Have you seen Harriet Jones since taking her to old Bridget?
No, she is with the sewer Skals now. I don't go downstairs.
What happened at the Pembroke?
I guess we recognized each other. As Skals, I mean. She had but one thought. To punish. To get revenge upon everything and everyone. I realized I had to bring her here quickly.
But why did she fake her own death? There was so much blood in her room. She attacked patients, too.
I just lost her for a minute that night. When I found her, she had caused mayhem across the hospital. I slapped some sense into her, and we fled before getting caught.
What happened then?
We ran here through narrow streets and backyards. She kept saying that someone was talking to her in the dark, offering to avenge her. But I saw nobody.
Somebody said that they heard a man's voice upstairs. I think it was that. It probably was him having caught her. It makes sense.
Farewell, Sean. Take good care of your flock. And of yourself.
He doesn't take care of himself. He's a skull.
I promised you would make everything like mine.
Handwritten prayer. Dear Lord, this is my prayer for my beloved mother, Gertrude Paxton, who now awaits her daughters in heaven. Until that day, I thank you for allowing me to wake up and go through each new day in honest poverty and modesty. Please protect the good Mr. Hampton, who lets us sleep in his night shelter. I humbly ask you to forgive me for the resentment I feel towards my sister, Giselle, since mother died. Blessed be her soul. Thank you, God, for hearing me. Amen. Lottie.
Glad to see you again, Mr. Reed.
Lottie, tell me about the death of your mother.
Giselle killed her, plain and simple. She killed her with her daily whims, her laziness, and her complaints.
That's quite a statement. You can't kill someone because you're fickle.
Mother was very ill, but I forgave Giselle. What I couldn't stand was how she cried at her funeral like she was the one left alone.
Sounds to me like the illness killed your mother, not Giselle.
Perhaps your sister is not as tough as you are.
I know that, and I don't blame her. It just makes me sad that my own sister is the person I understand the least.
Giselle is the only family you have left. Don't you think it's time you forgave her?
Sometimes words are harder to forgive than acts, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
Come now, Lottie. There is still much.
Where
work.
is Giselle? Shouldn't she be out here? She should be out here. That's actually her, blaming of other people for... Obviously, she isn't saying that that Giselle killed her mother because, you know, she said that she was ill. What she's saying is that Giselle's actions worsened the illness of her mother. I was just interpreting it literally to make fun of it, but there's a lot of situations where people do blame other people for the worsening of diseases. I don't know what that sound is.
Watch yourselves! There's one of them!
And that is pretty shit.
Christ!
Oh, look. It's Rodney. And Enid. And Martin.
Good evening, young man.
There's no need to...
Have you heard anything recently concerning Sean Hampton's shelter?
He keeps investing time helping the poor and sick. Good for him. And for them.
Are you feeling worried about the sanitary situation in London?
This city is falling apart. The disease kills so many people. No one cares about anything or anyone anymore but themselves.
Young man, do you require medical attention?
I don't like asking for help. But I don't want to be one of those poor sods dying in the streets.
There's no shame in asking for help, especially when you are in desperate need of it. Here, take this. You should recover in no time.
Thank you. I suppose.
Goodbye.
Oh, there you are.
Are you certain you're not lost, sir?
Good evening, sir. I'm glad to see you safe.
I am not safe. I should never have come back here. My life is in danger. I know it.
You're much safer here than in that contaminated area.
Bullets kill people quicker than diseases and epidemics, Dr. Reed.
Do you have recent news of Sean Hampton's shelter?
I heard he kept on helping people, but I tried to stay away from his shelter. I don't feel safe there.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
Not really. I've spent so many days hiding to escape retaliation from the Wet Boot Boys. Now that there's so much chaos, they might forget about me.
What can you tell me about this district?
The East End Docks only knows one rule. Dog eat dog, and blood calls for blood. The gang will have their revenge on me one way or another.
What can you tell me about the locals?
Most people would say that Sean Hampton and Tom Watts are good men who try to sort things out. But for me, the real boss around there was my best friend, Jack Gillingham.
Jack Gillingham, you say?
Everyone round there knew Jack. He was a rock. A mountain even. He feared nothing.
I think I missed him before. Rodney has fled away after having killed a member of the Wetwood Boys. Rodney was the friend of Enid Gillingham's son. Rodney's crime was in fact unintentional. We knew that already. Rodney is terrified by the Wetwood Boys' retaliation.
Your friend Jack has something to do with you fleeing to the contaminated area where I found you. I want to know more.
Jack is dead. That's all you need to know. Dead because of me. So much violence. So much sorrow. All of that because I refuse to be insulted again.
No man can predict the exact outcome of his actions. It's the curse we have to live with. We can only gamble and do what we think is best.
Perhaps you're right. The district was doomed before I was born. But I cannot stop myself thinking that Jack died for me.
Why do you say that?
After I killed that gang member, the Wet Boot Boy suspected Jack. And being loyal and all, he did not refute the accusation.
Rodney's crime was claimed by Jack Gillingham as his own to protect him.
You are not going to spend the rest of your life hiding, Rodney. What are you planning to do?
Honestly, I have no idea. How am I supposed to live while so many have suffered because of me?
Only you can answer that question. But one thing is certain. Since you owe Jack your life, I think it's fair to live it in a way that would make him proud.
That's the kind of thing Jack could have said, Dr. Reed. Thank you for that. I believe you're a good guy too.
The death of your friend has affected you deeply, hasn't it?
Jack Gillingham was the real deal. He believed we could change the world if we were united and focused enough. And he brought out the best in each of us.
You're right. He died to save you. That alone gives me an idea of the kind of man he was.
He was the bravest. And no one dares to say openly that he got killed by those bastards.
Your friend's plan was audacious, if not reckless. No one stands up by themselves to a gang like the Wet Boot Boys.
How dare you say that? You never met him.
Yeah, but he was a white line, so it didn't matter.
Do you need help, Mr. Grader?
Death by disease or by bullet? Do I really have to choose?
Well, I have nothing to stop the bullets, but this should make you feel better.
You have a strange sense of humor, Dr. Reed. But thanks anyway.
Goodbye, Mr. Grader. Take care. Good evening, Miss Gillingham. May I come in?
Of course, of course.
Hello.
So, Dr. Tippets.
Have you heard anything recently concerning Sean Hampton's shelter?
I've never heard that name before, I'm afraid.
Are you worried about the sanitation crisis in London?
Too much noise, too much shouting. It keeps me up. Is it really gunfire I'm hearing?
That's a good question, because it could be fireworks or something.
Miss Gillingham, why did you give Martin Nightingale the watch I returned to you?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I suppose I thought he needed a watch more than I did. I have no reason to really keep track of time anymore.
Why don't you need to keep track of time?
I've spent my entire life marching to the tick of clocks and the ringing of bells. At my age, It's nice to finally be rid of those burdens. On my time.
But it was your son's watch, Miss Gillingham.
It was, wasn't it? I'm relieved you found it. Besides, it's more useful to him anyway.
Do you require medical attention, miss?
I'm glad you asked, Dr. Tippett's.
I'll try my best.
Thank you, Doc.
Goodbye, Miss.
And that's that. I'm still missing Giselle, though. I think she might have not spawned when I came in here. I hear bad things. Ichabod is here. Forgot you were here.
Good evening, Mr. Throgmorton.
Dr. Reed, can I be of any assistance? Have you noticed anything suspicious lately?
Have you heard any rumors regarding Sean Hampton's shelter?
The sad saint will always be a target for vampires, but I'm keeping an eye out.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
It seems the Guard of Priwen has declared war on vampires. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though.
Really? I thought you'd be thrilled by this news.
The Guard can be reckless. They rush into a fight without thinking. The citizens of London should not be the collateral victims.
I wonder if this voice actor is the same as Dr. Swansea's voice actor. It sounds like the same.
Do you need my medical attention, sir?
Actually, I may. In my line of work, I have to stop at any sign of infection.
Treating a vampire hunter's wounds is certainly a first for me. I'm happy to help you, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Your support means a lot.
Goodbye. And good hunting, Mr. Throgmorton.
Throgmorton! Now, where is Giselle? Oh, she's back here. Or is she? Wait, what? There you are.
You again? What do you want?
Do you have recent news of Sean Hampton's shelter?
The place is all right, I suppose. The sad saint is still the same. Except for that awful skin disease he recently got.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation in London?
Chaos is rising, Dr. Reed. This city is about to crumble.
You almost sound happy.
This world needs to die, Dr. Reed. And from the ashes, a new one will emerge. With more equity and freedom.
Giselle, I know you sleep at Sean Hampton's shelter. What can you tell me about him?
He provided a roof for me and my sister. I am grateful, of course. But he gives me the creeps.
Why is that?
He's always sad. Like he's about to cry. He's always asking us to get closer to God. And to give ourselves to the Lord. Creepy.
And this is Lady Ashbury's voice actress.
Giselle, tell me about the death of your mother.
After our father died, Mother worked so hard she made herself sick. We spent all the money we had on useless drugs and doctors. It was hell.
Hell? What do you mean?
The three of us were exhausted and desperate. And when I'm desperate, I tend to get angry. And I'm hard to live with. Lottie said I killed Mother.
You should talk to your sister. Whatever happened when your mother died, the truth lies somewhere between your two versions.
I don't want to talk about that. It was years ago. We Paxton sisters are tough. We don't apologise.
Do you need medical help, Miss Paxton?
I may, but I have no money for your scams, Doctor.
I don't charge patients. My scam is much more subtle than that, Miss Paxton.
All right, then. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. But don't think I take you for an ally of the working class.
I thought I had helped her already.
Well, I'll leave you for now.
But apparently I hadn't. I think this concludes this whole district. Of course, I'm gonna need to sleep again for their health to come back. But that's that. Let's go back to the other docks, because I think I might be able to have a dialogue. It's good that I need to come back, because there's a lot of dialogue here, and people that I missed.
Good evening, Mr. Kimura.
Goody.
Have you heard of Aloysius Dawson?
I heard about his plan to eradicate the epidemic. It gives me shivers to realize I was as cold as him until recently.
Until recently.
Do you need medical assistance, sir?
Don't believe that I'm the kind of man with a fragile constitution. But I'm afraid my imprisonment has done more harm than I thought.
There is no need to be ashamed. We are all equally vulnerable to this disease.
Yes. I know now life is as precious as it is fragile.
Goodbye, Mr.
Yeah, we're not all equally vulnerable. Certainly not us who are a vampire. But also, yeah, we're not all vulnerable to the same extent, because not all of us have to walk around and all that.
Good evening, old chap.
I won't lie to you.
Have you any news about Aloysius Dawson?
I must say that I'm feeling reassured by the wall he's going to build. Although I doubt it'll protect us from all the dangers that lurk outside the West End.
I think it's not going to protect you from the dangers that lurk inside.
Do you need
It's a little...
What can I say?
I hope we took...
You need some...
Support the equality between men and women.
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
What is your opinion of Aloysius Dawson?
All I know is my mother is very disappointed in you right now. Really, Dr. Reed? You made this disgusting man your progeny?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Do you need my medical attention, Charlotte?
Indeed. Unlike you and my mother, I can still become ill.
Oh, you cannot imagine how relieved I'd be to catch a cold again.
My mother once told me the same thing. I sometimes wonder if she's forgotten what it feels like to be ill.
Goodbye, Charlotte.
She's been quite...
Yeah, I know.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you any news on Aloysius Dawson?
I heard he intends to build some sort of wall. Has he gone mad? Walls are prisons for the mind, and we are a free-thinking nation.
Do you need medical help?
You would save my life, Dr. Reed. I have not felt so bad in many years.
Don't worry. There is nothing serious to fear. I have seen far worse, I can assure you.
I cannot imagine the pain these people must face then. You have my gratitude, Doctor. This disease has ruined my appetite.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell.
He just had fatigue. That's all he had. That's all he had.
Don't let any strangers come
Good evening, Miss Teasdale.
Can I help you, Dr. Reed?
Just wanted to talk to you a little, because you might have dialogue, but no.
Goodbye, Miss Teasdale.
Don't let any strangers come here.
She's just hanging out around over here.
Hello, Venus.
That cut was spooky as hell.
What do you need?
Have you any recent news of Aloysius Dawson?
I heard he's launched a project to build a wall to protect the West End from the rest of the city. Perhaps Clarence will feel safer when it's built.
Do you need my medical attention?
It would appear that old habits die hard, my dear. I would appreciate your help as always.
And I'm happy to give it to you, as always.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Goodbye for now.
You know that you are always welcome here.
Rats.
Have you recent news of Aloysius Dawson?
The voice told me he is one of them now. He must have found the good rat. The perfect rat. I must find mine too.
I am the perfect rat.
Can I help you, Miss Billow? I'm a doctor.
Yes, You can help me. Free me.
I will take that as a yes. Even if I would prefer to help you in another way.
Make it stop. Please.
I must go now.
Maybe I will make it stop. I wonder. Because it could be the same person we're looking for.